It's getting crazy. It's getting spooky real fast. Very, very fast. I told y'all, people have had enough. All of y'all in the Indiana Fever organization who have been lying about this girl injury, not being transparent, and all these things that the fans are feeling, the fans are speaking back. They do not appreciate it. They feel scammed. They feel lied to.
And okay, this is wild. The Indiana Fever front office and coach Stephanie White may have just pulled off the worst disappearing act in WNBA history. They were flat out lying in plain sight about Caitlin Clark's injury, hoping nobody would catch on. Spoiler alert, fans absolutely noticed. And the receipts? They're everywhere. Footage, photos, timelines that don't line up even a little. Honestly, this doesn't feel like a medical update anymore. It feels like a full-blown cover-up. Did they really think in 2025 that people wouldn't fact-check every single word? The contradictions are so obvious, they're not just raising eyebrows, they're raising the possibility of an actual investigation into deceptive consumer practices. Fans are already asking the big questions. Were they tricked into buying tickets, watching games, and spending money on merch under false pretenses?
Urge DOJ and FTC to investigate WNBA's misleading practices. Wow. So we are here now. And what's crazy about all of this is that, guys, this is I'm not going to come on here and say that they're going to lose, because if there was an investigation going into this team, they're not going to lose this investigation. Oh, they're going to win. Whoever is representing Caitlin is going to win.
Let me break this down for you. This isn't just some minor slip-up. This is a full-blown credibility crisis. Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, stood in front of the cameras and delivered this neat little story about Caitlin Clark's injury timeline. And maybe she thought fans would just swallow it whole. But here's the kicker. When your dates don't line up with reality, people are going to rip it apart piece by piece. That's exactly what's happening now. The contradictions are so blatant, they're impossible to ignore. And it leaves us with the big question. After all this, do you still trust the Fever front office and coach Stephanie White?
The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice.
But hold up, let's rewind a second. Caitlin Clark supposedly injured her groin after taking a JCS Sheldon knee in a game back in mid-July, with a projected return sometime near the end of August. At first, it was labeled day-to-day, and practice was supposedly about to ramp up. Yet here we are, closing in on the end of August, and Clark still hasn't practiced with the team. And then, out of nowhere, a brand new injury magically appeared. The official story? Clark hurt herself in a workout on August 7th. Sounds neat, tidy, and perfectly PR-friendly. But here's the problem. Actual footage from that exact same date shows Clark casually strolling through Phoenix, rocking a Prada bag like she's headed for a runway. She's moving smoothly, no limp, no wince, no sign of discomfort. Fans noticed. The footage proves it.
Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark returning soon. Even Natasha Howard saying, "See you soon, Cece." Now it's like, wait and see. And there's further information coming out that Clark suffered a bit of an ankle injury in the midst of her recovery process. Did that hinder her return? One reporter saying yes, another reporter is saying no. Bottom line is, we need to know a little bit more. We don't need Caitlin Clark's in-depth medical report, but it's fair for fans to wonder if the Fever and the league's biggest star is going to return to the floor this season or what the chances are. And she's been out of action for 5 weeks, so it's not as if some patience hasn't been expressed.
But here's where it gets crazy. Instead of admitting that their story didn't hold up, Stephanie White and her PR team doubled down. And that's when the real clown show began. Reporters like Scott Agnes, who should be delivering straight facts, went on air retelling this unlucky injury story and actually laughed. And it wasn't nervous laughter either. It was genuine chuckles, like Caitlin's pain was the punchline in some twisted comedy sketch. Are we seriously supposed to believe that the face of the league, the player single-handedly driving historic ratings, is sidelined, and the media covering it thinks it's a joke? That's not just unprofessional. It's insulting to fans and incredibly disrespectful to Caitlin Clark herself.
The Indiana Fever's got $1 billion entity on their team. $1 billion damn dollars. And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look, they can't say anything about conspiracy theories. You're complicit in creating them because you won't be open and you won't be honest.
And get this. This is exactly why the Fever's credibility is in total freefall. Look, it's one thing to spin a narrative. Teams do that all the time. But to flat-out lie and then grin while you're doing it? That's basically telling the entire fan base, hey, we think you're dumb enough to buy this. Newsflash, fans aren't dumb. Social media receipts last forever, and people are piecing all of this together in real time. Every contradiction, every slip, every hole in the story. It's all being documented, shared, and dissected. And once trust is gone, you don't get it back.
You got this video right here that a lot of you have already seen. I just saw it in the last couple of days of Caitlin getting stepped on by a coach right there on the left.
Stepped on by the coach, and I think she's going to be all right based upon the grin on her face. But
the left foot, the one that's got the issue, she got stepped on. And today, I'm not even going to say Indiana Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans are crashing out at a different level. And I don't blame them. I don't.
Oh, and here's the part they really don't want you thinking about. Remember that infamous moment when assistant coach Bon January literally stepped on Caitlin Clark's foot during a game? Yeah, that incident didn't just vanish. It got buried under this shiny, fake workout narrative. Suddenly, the official story about when she supposedly got hurt doesn't match the day fans actually saw something happen. So, which is it? Was it just an innocent workout mishap? Or was Clark injured by the very staff who are supposed to protect her? Because, if it's the latter, this isn't just bad luck anymore. This is negligence. Negligence serious enough to spark a major investigation.
You guys have said Caitlin Clark was day-to-day for I don't know how long. You guys have fabricated timelines on her injury many times throughout this season. And the people have just flat out had enough. And it's gone so...
Meanwhile, what's truly gut-wrenching is that Caitlin Clark herself has been dragged straight into this PR machine, forced to parrot sanitized talking points that sound nothing like her. They read more like they were drafted by some Fever intern than Clark herself. Every time she talks about her recovery, it's the same exact lines. Working hard, feeling good, just unlucky. The repetition is robotic. The timing is beyond suspicious. And fans can absolutely tell the difference between genuine honesty and pure damage control. This isn't just disappointing, it's unacceptable.
isn't just disappointing, it's deceptive. Fans invested their hard-earned money in tickets, streaming packages, and merchandise under the belief that they were being given honest information. Instead, it appears coordinated efforts were made between the league and team communications to present a facade of hopeful updates, masking the true status of a beloved player's.
First off, let's be crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is no rookie anymore. She's in her second season, the league's biggest star, and she's earned every ounce of that spotlight by selling out arenas and literally carrying WNBA ratings on her back. And yet, here she is, being treated like some expendable pawn in a sloppy cover-up. Just imagine if, in the NBA, a coach or staff member injured LeBron James or Steph Curry and then flat-out lied about it. There would be wall-to-wall coverage, immediate investigations, and probably firings before the week was over. But in the WNBA, silence. No accountability. No transparency. Just reporters acting like unpaid interns for the team.
Everybody's been hanging on. And even worse, everybody's been spending money on this team, which looks like a damn scheme at this point. The Indiana Fever know people have been spending money on tickets and travel and blah, 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 thinking that Caitlin Clark was her anticipated comeback. People tuning in and showing up at games, they need to understand that was because the idea, the aura that Caitlin Clark was coming back to lead this team into the playoffs.
The Fever's credibility is in absolute shreds right now, and Stephanie White sitting right at the center of this storm. Her attempt to distract fans with a fake timeline isn't just careless. It might actually be fraudulent. Think about it. When you sell tickets, hype up games, and market merchandise around a superstar, then intentionally mislead fans about her health, you're not just spinning a story. You're stepping straight into the territory of deceptive consumer practices. And that's exactly the kind of behavior that draws the attention of watchdogs, sponsors, and, yes, even legal authorities.
Goes on to say fans felt excited when they purchased tickets, believing they'll watch Caitlin Clark shine on the court. However, that excitement turned to disappointment as misleading injuries kept fueling false hopes that she had played the WNBA. And hold up, damn, is they finna get her for line? Is they finna get her for line to the fans? Oh my God. Hold up, the WNBA and Indiana Fever fans, Indiana Fever have repeatedly engaged in what seems to be a strategic ploy to drive ticket sale and merchandise sales by suggesting that Caitlin Clark's return was on the horizon. Holy-ish right now, bro. Oh my God, it's about to get red.
And here's the spiciest theory making the rounds right now. What if this isn't just incompetence? What if it's intentional? Clark stormed into the league like a tidal wave, shattering ratings and rewriting the entire WNBA narrative. But almost immediately, the whispers began. She needs to bulk up. She needs more strength. She's not ready. So what happens? She's rushed into rapid muscle gain. Her body starts breaking down. And suddenly, her entire second season is overshadowed by constant injury talk. That's not bad luck. That's bad planning. And bad planning always has a culprit. In this case, all fingers point directly at Stephanie White and her staff.
I feel like they were lying about her injury as far as like the severity of it. I think it's a really bad injury. I think when they rushed her back that one time, I think she hurt it even more and it pushed the timeline back.
Trying to come back and come back quickly. She needs to make sure that she's 100%. Her competitor wants to play. We're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
As bad as it might sound, I think it might be like a season-ending level type of injury and they're hoping to get in the playoffs and they can somehow get her during the playoffs.